Click. Click away.
Okay.
We good?
I think so. I hope so. Just press that.
Give it a couple more
See,
seconds.
that works. Everything. Whoa. I didn't mean to do that.
What did you do?
Oh.
What did you do?
No, I don't want to do that. All right.
What are you doing? What's happening?
It's Firefox. Firefox has a default thing attached to F7.
Oh, so this is the first time we're using Firefox on the stream, right? At your place.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I've had Firefox installed. It's
Yeah.
not usually the browser that's up for that. But
So F7 does what in Firefox? I need to know this because I recently switched to Firefox
It turns
too.
on cadet browsing. I have no idea.
What the hell's cadet browsing?
You're correct. I
Is
don't
that
know.
is that for Boy Scouts? If you're a Boy Scout,
Correct.
you use a cadet.
Correct.
If you're an ROTC,
Correct.
correct. I don't know what that is. We'll have to look into that.
Oh, you know what I should do?
Sure,
I should
chat's
do one
already
more
firing
thing.
away.
We should be live though. Hi, YouTube.
Hi everyone.
Hold on. Keep talking.
Our goal was to make the smoothest intro for today's show, and it seems like we've failed. But that's okay. Welcome to Awesome Hardware, episode 191. This is side A. In about half an hour, we'll switch over to side B on Paul's channel, youtube.com/Paul's Hardware. You can find the link in my description. Or you can just join us. You can just stay on Twitch. Just stay on Twitch, the consistent platform, twitch.tv/Awesome Hardware. We do this every single Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. I'm sure we have a couple first-timers here, so if you're able to catch us live for the first time, we welcome you, and we hope that that you enjoy us, that you enjoy every moment of and savor every minute of this stream as we toast to life and all of its prospects.
I'm inspired. This is inspirational, Kyle.
That's what I was going for, Paul.
I'm glad.
My TED Talk is coming up soon, so
I'm glad everyone's here.
I'm just preparing with you guys. Thank you very much for having me. All right, so we also have things on our stores that we like to sell. So if you would like to support us that way, you can go to my store, which is bitwit.tech/store. I've got the Screw with Confidence shirts. They're both very comfy, both very sexy. You will actually screw with confidence at least 15% more if you buy one of these shirts. There's a bunch of other stuff on there too, so check it out. Paul's store is paulshardware.net.
paulshardware.net.
He's got the captive thumb screw still going strong. There's a lot of other awesome hardware merch on here, and hoodies, pint glasses. Actually, the glasses that we're drinking out of today are very high quality. They hold up. They have very high resistance to heat. So if you put them in the washer, the dishwasher.
In case you're
No
wondering,
problems there.
the
logos.
The glasses that we have been using are the same glasses. I've only ever had 2 of these, and they're still
going strong.
as good as the day we
You
got
probably
them.
washed that hundreds of times, and it's the logo's still on there. There's no
have.
chipping or anything. So
I wash it.
very high quality merchandise
constantly.
that you will receive a big Johnson from both of us, or at least one of us. If you happen to purchase something from both of our stores, we'll give you a double Johnson. And those are who are
I've heard
patrons of the show.
I've heard just the experience of that
is life changing.
Yeah.
So we are going to jump right in to tech news. We've got some leaks because that's what it says in my title. So I'm not going to clickbait. I already did my clickbait.
Like at a
for the
certain
day.
point, we derail from like making up stuff in our head to say, and just sort of like, oh, what does it say on the show document? And
But I feel like
it happens at a different time.
I feel like it's going to be like The Boy Who Cried Wolf because, like for vlogs and stuff, I'll get pretty clickbaity, admittedly. But I'm going to do it so much to the point where eventually when I go, the title's 3800X, Ryzen 7 3800X, performance benchmarks leaked, people are going to look at it and go, well, what's this video going to be about?
Probably
How's he going to stick me on this?
Probably you and your wife bitching at each other again.
That would be the ultimate clickbait.
Just bickering.
Just guys that has useful tech information and just like Wifey Sauce and I just going at it in an argument. Rigorously. All right, let's move on.
Speaking of this stuff we're talking about, did we say disclaimer like?
Oh yeah,
adult
okay.
language?
Occasionally adult language or adult themes can be. We should get like an official like PG-13 or maybe a rated R. I guess if we were a movie, if this show was a movie, we'd be rated R, right?
Mosaic censor.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Some shows would be. I think some shows could get away with a PG-13 or
Sure.
even a PG from time to time.
Yeah.
Occasionally we forget to curse completely. Usually people are disappointed when that happens.
That is true. We do have some moments. That's true. We do have some moments that are PG. So let's talk about our first story here, which is from WCCF Tech. Ryzen 7 3800X performance benchmarks have been leaked. All right. Some user found that some asshole who didn't turn his internet off while he was running benchmarks in Geekbench.
What a dick.
Left all of his results just sitting there for the taking in the Geekbench database. So thank you to that idiot. Definitely wasn't me. And then, so the Ryzen 7 3800X was tested with an X470 board, so whoever had this didn't have access to X570, presumably. And he or she used a 16 gigabyte kit with modest speeds, nothing too crazy. And they found a multi-threaded score of 34,000, just over 34,000. Single-threaded score of just over 5,400. And it's pretty telling, because if you look at the existing scores for the i7 9700K, which this chip is competing with, because they're both around the same price. 3800X is going to launch at $399. The 9700K can be found for just over that. The multi-threaded score for the 9700K was 28,400. So again, that's compared to the 34,000 that the 3800X scored. Quite a big uplift there. And then the 9900K, which is obviously a bit more expensive than either of these chips, scored a multi-threaded score of 31,500. So still not beating out the much cheaper 3800X. Some good.
It's astounding.
It's a good sign so far. However, Intel is still about 10%, roughly 10% faster in the single-threaded scores. So if you look at the 9700K, 9900K, you actually see that they are pulling quite ahead of the 3800X, but not by as much as the last generation of Ryzen chips. So you can see that the 3800X in single-threaded performance kind of has this like almost a midpoint, almost a equal midpoint between the 2700X before it and the current generation of 9th gen Intel chips on their flagship side. So we're getting there. AMD is getting there. I say we because like we're all kind of in this. We're all sort of rooting for the underdog here. But it's looking like this isn't the only trick up AMD's sleeve. They also have the Ryzen 5 3600, which hasn't been officially confirmed by the company. However, we've been seeing numerous leaks across the globe, including this one that was summarized by Hexus.net, featuring El Chapuzas Informático. El Chapuzas Informático. Which is a Spanish or Mexican publisher. I'm not exactly sure which one. But they published a full-blown review. These aren't just, it is a leak, but this is like a full review featuring Cinebench, W Prime, there's Ada64, we've got 3D Mark applications, Unigine Heaven 4.0, Superposition, and even game titles. There's Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Far Cry 5, Total Warhammer, and so forth. So this is a full-blown review that you could just read right now on the Ryzen 5 3600, successor to the Ryzen 5 2600 before it. And it's got some interesting results here. The takeaway is that it's freaking crazy. If you look at the Far Cry, all you got to do is look at the Far Cry 5 slide. Scroll down to the Far Cry 5 slide. That is.
I'm doing that.
That's everything right there. So Ryzen 5 3600.
Get off my back.
Again, the Ryzen 5 3600 is tested on X470, not X570. But you can see here it's keeping pace with the Core i7 6700K, and it's blowing the 2700X out of the water, which is a more top tier SKU. It's actually, again, creating sort of a stopgap between 2700X and 9900K. It's a lot closer to the 9900K.
What about the 9900K up here though?
No, yeah, it's still fantastic. But when you look at the price difference, probably of what the Ryzen 5 3600 for is going to launch,
that's a $200 chip.
$200 chip. $200 chip versus what, 500 and something for the 9900K.
$485 as of this week.
Oh, okay, $485. Oh yeah, because we'll get to that. We'll get to that as well.
Selling for.
But it's still more than double the price for marginal gains.
I'll also point out this is early information. Also, we should this is all probably nonsense.
Yep, totally.
None of this is probably true.
We haven't tested any of this.
But they're using 3200 megahertz memory. Mm-hmm. According to AMD, the sweet spot for the Ryzen 3 is 3600.
Oh, 36.
3600.
I heard.
There's an interesting thing that happens at 3800 where the clock speed ratio between the memory and the Infinity Fabric is 1-to-1.
Right.
That's why faster memory equals faster Ryzen chips.
And it goes to 1-to-2?
It goes to 1-to-2 when you get above, I think, when you hit 3800. So I'm interested to see some tests to see what kind of effect that actually has.
I heard from a fairly reliable source that the drop-off in performance gains really falls short at a higher frequency. Someone at Computex...
What does that mean? Explain. I don't understand what you just said.
So that you can actually squeeze pretty decent performance out of higher frequency RAM, like higher than 3600. I heard the cap is like 4100 before it really starts to drop off.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard they've been, like, what they said at the event was every kit they've tried up to 4000 or 4100 or 4200 or something right in that range, they've just plugged in, turned on XMP settings, and it's worked.
Yeah.
That's very good news because it means hopefully it's not as finicky with memory kits.
Right.
But I'm just saying, when it comes to gaming performance in particular, latency between CCXs is
right.
The core complexes that there's four cores per CCX.
Yeah.
I believe. And latency between those is what sort of holds it back in gaming performance.
Right.
So if you're switching the Infinity Fabric speed from 1-to-1 to 1-to-2, then maybe you're losing. Maybe that's adding some latency there.
Right.
And maybe that will be a detriment to gaming performance. But obviously, no one's going to know this until it's tested. Sure. Because computers are weird, and you might have an expectation for something to do one thing and it doesn't. Right. Or whatever.
It's still very the whole series is still very much shrouded in mystery. We're kind of just going off of whatever leaks that we have here. But it's looking like
Chad is confirming, and yes, this is the number. 3733 is the highest you can go for that stays 1-to-1. Once you go up to the next divider after 3733, right, then it switches to 1-to-2.
Right. So it'll be interesting to test out.
And yes, I believe there's 8 cores per CCX in Zen 2.
So it was 4 in Ryzen 2.
What?
Was it 4? It was 4 cores in CCX in a single CCX for the last gen, or for I guess the current gen.
Yes.
Yeah.
For first and second gen.
Right. But if this is to be at all true in any capacity, it's pretty exciting that for a $200 chip you could get pretty decent performance that rivals, or that actually surpasses a flagship 2700X. And obviously the testing here is made to show that the difference. It's made to highlight the difference in performance between CPUs as much as possible, which is why they're testing with the 2080 Ti. To make it as CPU bound as possible, but most people who are using
no, there are still 4 per CCX. I'm sorry,
Is it still 4?
That makes more sense to me. So somebody in chat said 8, and I just rolled with it. But honestly, I'm not thinking very well.
So then there's 2 CCXs per chiplet.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
That's right. Such an information overload that it just sometimes it fries my brain. Yeah. Okay, but at any rate, take this with a grain of salt, but still kind of exciting. It almost seems as though like Intel should be shaking in their boots right now and should probably take action based on all the speculation, and they should get a little bit nervous, right?
They should watch my video on the a new 2500K.
Oh yeah, I caught bits of that video. It seemed good. Seemed like
it was really good.
Really good video.
It's a great video.
Yep. Everyone go watch that video. I think maybe Intel heard your cries, Paul. Maybe Intel watched your video, and they probably first disliked it because they're like, no, just don't tell us what to do, Paul. And then they ended up doing something anyway, which was cutting their prices by 15% on their CPUs. What? This is unheard of.
Whoa!
Like in Intel history,
Whoa.
At least for the last 10 years or so.
And it's all thanks to me.
And it's all thanks to Paul. Wow. Paul, thank you very much for lowering the prices for the world.
You're welcome.
We owe you a huge debt that will never be paid. And then this is from Digitimes. They reported that Intel's going to slash desktop processor prices by up to 15% in response to the competition. So they're feeling the competitive pressures of AMD, of course, and sources in Taiwan, in the Taiwanese motherboard market, are suggesting that the prices across 8th and 9th gen families will be lowered by around 10 to 15%. That's around... If you look at the high end of like what you said, like a $500-ish CPU at the 9900K, you could potentially be looking at a $75 price cut. That's insane. AMD has a lot going for it though, besides price to performance. I mean, they have greater core counts. For the money, larger caches, PCIe Gen 4 support, which is pretty huge. IPC gains that are still maybe not rivaling Intel's flagship parts, but are still much higher than what they were. And energy efficiency, right? These have a lot more performance per watt than they used to, and the scalable platform with AM4 being backwards and forwards compatible, and there's a lot to look forward to with this next generation of Ryzen CPUs. And of course, Intel has to respond in some way, in one way or another. So price cuts seems to be the easiest and most logical option for now.
It's their only option if they don't have a competing product to release in response.
Exactly. So
all we've heard about is the 9900KS or whatever they're called, the KQ, whatever the other stupid letter they're adding onto the name to make it more confusing. But that's not coming until like Q3 or Q4.
Right.
Like so.
Exactly. That's a long shot away.
And that's when we're expecting 10 nanometer stuff to hopefully arrive on the desktop.
Yep. And they still have their...
If the rumors aren't true that they're pushing it to 2020, which would suck.
I would not be surprised. Yay, Intel CPUs. It'll be interesting to see the lowered Intel CPU prices and how that's going to affect the landscape, right? Because right now it's like everyone has so much, like the AMD hype train is so full, and it's going full speed right now. And depending on these prices from Intel, when you compare, the price to performance, because that's what AMD has in the bag is price to performance. But if they're if Intel's slashing prices to this degree on some of their hottest CPUs, it could definitely change some people's minds. People who are potential Ryzen buyers.
They can hear the baby.
The baby. The dogs have now been replaced with baby.
She's learning words.
She is
saying many things like ooh and nah and other
Fortnite.
Other noises.
Fortnite. Fortnite is her first words.
Oh yeah.
You failed as a parent.
It would be Overwatch if she's been absorbing any video game. There's been some Overwatch League going on.
Her first words were
recently.
main diva.
Yeah, well, I mean, Hana song.
Oh yeah, Hana song.
Come on.
Yeah, that would make sense. All right, so good luck to AMD and Intel. We look forward to testing all of their parts in an all-out bloodbath, but more on that later. For now, we can move on to our next story from Gizmodo about the Raspberry Pi 4. Everyone's been talking about it. There have been significant upgrades that could let it finally pass as an incredibly cheap desktop computer, which is kind of exciting. Let's just dive right into the specs here. We've got a Broadcom 1.5 gigahertz ARM Cortex A72 quad-core processor with an option to step up from the default 1 gigabyte of RAM.
Look how awesome the scaling options are with Firefox. Sorry, I was just zooming in on the web page.
Oh yeah, that looks very nice.
I feel Firefox has superior zoom in and zoom out capabilities to Chrome.
And no strangers are watching you do it without your knowledge.
That's true.
And so we also have the option to go from 1 gig of faster LPDDR4 RAM to 2 gigs for $45 or 4 gigs for $55 if you want to just take advantage of more functionality. If you need more RAM, they have there was a standard size single HDMI port on the Raspberry Pi 3. They've upgraded that now to dual mini HDMI. Micro HDMI, which is not my favorite because micro HDMI ports can be kind of fragile. I know you had.
I've had them fail.
You've had them fail on your GH4 in the past and stuff.
Yep.
So it remains to be seen if this is really an upgrade. However, having 2 ports instead of 1 will allow users to connect up to 2 4K monitors, which is kind of cool.
And honestly, like if you're concerned about micro HDMI, get a little dongle like micro HDMI to standard HDMI and just leave it plugged in all the time.
Yeah.
And you save the ports on your devices.
That is true. And then, so those are 4K. You can have 2 4K displays at 30 FPS, or you could have a single 4K display at 60 FPS. I would much prefer the latter, but depending on your use case scenario, you might need 2 displays. It's using Eric Anholt's Mesa V3D graphics driver, which apparently is a good thing.
Mesa,
sorry. Did I say Mesa?
Yes, you did.
That'd be 2 S's. 1 S is Mesa. Pair of USB 2 and a pair of USB 3.0 ports. Micro USB port has been replaced, however, by a power-only USB-C, which I'm a fan of. That gives you an extra 500 milliamps of juice. And you have Bluetooth 5.0, which is an upgrade, and dual band 802.11 AC. It would have been kind of cool to see AX on there, but I understand limitations there. The OS system upgrades, or the OS has also had some system upgrades based on the upcoming release of Debian 10 Buster. It's making it more user-friendly to kind of just, first-time users, people who are familiar with the Mac OS or Windows environments may feel a bit more at home on this new operating system. So that's exciting, because the Raspberry Pi, Raspberrian, or whatever it's called, I forget what it's called, it can be a little confusing. There's new applications, or I should say, there's going to be tons of new applications that people find use case scenarios for this device, it being more powerful, more capable. It'll be interesting to see what people actually use this for that the Raspberry Pi 3 just couldn't deliver on. So it's not just for, it doesn't seem like it's just for hobbyists anymore, but potentially you could be looking at a super budget desktop replacement. I'm sure that's going to be tested in full when these things get in more people's hands. But let us move on to Google Pixel 4. What? Google Pixel 4 rumored to extend photography lead with P3 wide color capture. Okay, so this is aiming to capture a wider color gamut on your Pixel 4 device. It's going to make the camera in the Pixel phones even better than they previously were, which is saying a lot, because right now the Pixel 3 is kind of like top of its game when it comes to camera and picture quality. I guess Apple is still ahead of the game in that sense, because they're using a P3 color gamut, so they can actually display more vivid colors with a wider gamut, a wider range than Android can. So if you took a picture on Android and tried to display it on your Google phone, you'd actually be losing out on some of that color fidelity, so to speak.
I mean, if you took a picture with an iPhone and tried to display it on an Android phone, or an Android phone?
That's, yeah. I guess because of the camera. The camera can also captures a P3 color gamut as opposed to sRGB. I think sRGB is the gamut that's currently in the Pixel 3 and XL.
Yes, DCI P3 is, I believe, what's primarily been used for like cinematography and stuff right now.
Yeah, it's the film standard, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
so these monitors are so awesome
because they're all P3.
The Asus does 90%.
90%.
The LG technically does, I think, like 98%. It's pretty high.
Wow.
On the LG.
Did you do a color test in between the two panels in your video?
No, my video sucks.
No one watched that video. No.
But
I'd be interested to see that, because this is, I mean, obviously this is priced higher for different reasons than color gamut.
This is like $1,000 now, or like a little less than 1,000.
Yeah, and that's like more than double, right? It was
so
like
yeah, it's 2,500.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Very expensive.
But
very expensive.
But
monitor.
the HDR in that will blow this HDR away.
If you're all about
Holy
HDR, you definitely want that one.
Yeah.
That's very good at HDR.
I didn't give a shit about HDR until I got that LG OLED TV in, and then was actually playing like Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Battlefield 5. I was like, oh my god.
Where's Heather?
Oh my god, it's so much better.
Heather?
What? Oh no, what happened?
Your
YouTube chat's being
your
spammed
YouTube
with porn bots.
chat is
No!
being spammed with porn bots.
Wifey!
She's doing stuff.
Okay,
Thank you.
she's been alerted.
Thank you.
Sorry, what?
There's porn bots.
Yes, I'm doing my best to get rid of them. They're just a lot.
It's not because I was watching porn earlier or anything. It's not my fault. All right, thank you. So, now that I'm off the hook.
New porn bots.
Yes. So, Google was dropping hints last month, like they were bombs, saying that the sRGB color gamut at 8 bits per color channel is just not enough to take advantage of the display and camera technology on today's flagship phones. And they want to stick it to Apple and be more competitive with their flagship shit. So the evidence is all pointing to DCI P3 color gamut coming to Pixel 4 very soon. Last year, the team at XDA Developers found that the photo samples taken from a leaked Pixel 3 contained an embedded display P3 color profile. Of course, that never actually materialized with the Pixel 3 or the XL, but they're speculating that it was because of a lack of support in applications, different apps, as opposed to the cameras not being able to take advantage of it. So, we're all expecting that the Pixel 3 will ship with Android Q on board, which will feature and support Display P3. I guess it's called Display P3 on mobile.
I still like the original Pixel.
Yeah, I mean, the Pixel 2 is great. I have the Pixel 2, Pixel 1, Pixel 2, although the battery on this has really just taken a dive recently.
Really? I think I'm over 3 years on this.
It's crazy. Well, you do have the XL, so So you have the bigger battery too.
Yeah, the battery still does great on this though.
Heather's battery's been better than mine too, and she has the original Pixel. She has the same phone as you.
But I do need to change this out soon because my my USB-C port is starting to fail.
Really?
It still works fine for charging. If I want fast charging, it's like kind of 50-50. Like
Really?
sometimes I have to replug it and stuff.
Oh no.
Data transfer, like
Really?
doesn't work anymore.
That sucks.
Or like if it'll work for a second, but I need some magic like angle in there.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if mine was the same because I haven't tried transferring data over it in a long time, but I noticed the connector is so loose now. Any USB-C fresh cable that I plug in here, it comes out so quickly. It's so easily. It's just worn out.
USB-C was supposed to be the chosen one.
I
It's
know.
supposed to never fail.
I know what's
Like
up
a
with
micro,
that.
like a
Maybe
micro
it's-
USB. Might as well. What's going on
Micro USB at least had some teeth to it.
over there?
Okay. So yay Google Pixel 4. That's the okay. We can dive into Pin My PC.
Lint? I should check for lint. I'll check for
Check
lint.
for lint.
ScanXN. Thank
Always
you
check for
the
lint.
suggestion.
It's like checking for lumps.
Wait,
but
you
for your
did
phone.
put my PC?
Yeah. So remember, my pictures weren't loading on here, so I said we were gonna do like an impromptu on the fly vetting
That is what you said.
of submissions.
So how?
So
how?
you could go to my Twitter. You don't have to log into my Twitter, but just go to your Twitter and go to my profile. Just go straight to my profile and then look at the replies on my tweet. So yeah, for whatever reason,
I'm not logged into Twitter on this browser. So.
do you have to be logged in to
I
view
hope
it,
not.
though?
But Twitter's all freaking wonky today. It's taking forever.
Yeah,
to load.
no, Twitter was taking a shit right before the show, so I couldn't even like look at your pictures. They were all just coming up as gray and black boxes. They still are. I can hardly see anything here, so I don't even know what any of your pictures look like.
Oh yeah! Wow! Look at that.
Oh shit.
This is what Twitter looks like right now, guys.
No.
Twitter.
Oh no.
Twitter. Yay, Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how to proceed at this point, at least for this segment, because I can't see anything.
It is somewhat reliant on a functional Twitter. It's like, how would we stream the show if Twitch was down or YouTube?
Yeah,
was
no,
down?
yeah.
So we'd be like, I don't know. We just have to like not actually stream and just sit here and do the show, just the two of us, but not broadcasting it to anyone.
It sounds creepy.
That's what we'd have to do.
It makes it seem like we're robots, like we're just doing it to be in the motion of it, and we're not actually.
Yeah, because it's a
conscious.
task. It's a task that's on your in the queue, and you have to accomplish that task before. Right?
As yeah, because that's what the robot overlords are commanding. We are under their reign, after all. So it doesn't look like we can actually do. I see that people are like. I understand, chat, that it's not dead for everyone.
Maybe it's working for you.
That some people are loading it just fine. Can you try a different browser?
All right, maybe Twitter just sucks on Firefox. Is that what you're suggesting?
Is Chrome is this Chrome's way of retaliating because it knows that we both defected?
No, it's a
it's
big old blank,
still
slow
shit.
loady white screen
There's-
on Chrome as
Yeah.
well.
No, it's just black boxes. I can't see anyone's pictures. They're not. It's like I'm on a plane.
We could.
It's like when you get a plane Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
It's too slow to load pictures. That's what it's like.
It might work on our phones, but like then we couldn't show you guys the pictures. So what's the point of you guys sitting here watching us be like, yeah, that's a nice build you got there. I would
Right.
switch the PSU,
Everyone, close
Cables
your
and-
eyes and imagine.
and I'll just assume like,
course
oh,
there.
there's ketchup and mustard cables. You should get some extensions. Oh no, you should reroute that 8-pin supplemental CPU power connector behind the motherboard tray. You've got a decent color scheme going on here, but there's just that one thing standing out that you should swap out. Okay, good. We're done with Pin My PC, Cal. I'm glad.
It'd be the easiest thing for like AI, for like an AI bot to emulate. Like an AI bot could just do the show every week because there's only like 10 phrases that we use.
You could put those responses just generically with any.
Yeah, just
any
on a soundboard, and just like hit them. Like, change that ketchup and mustard. Take the sticker off that power supply. It's just... We gotta do it. We gotta do it on that. I mean, we gotta put that thing to real use. It's just sitting there.
Think about painting your RAM heat spreader. don't know what else we.
Upgrade your stock CPU cooler.
That's true.
Where'd you get
the soundboard? I've got 5 blank ones right in the middle that aren't being
Where'd you
used.
get that case?
To do that.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the best Pit My PC we've ever done. That was beautiful. I honestly don't know. I didn't have a backup plan. Pit My PC's never been an issue to
Wait,
run.
Look, now it's loading. Hold on.
Is it?
Maybe it's fixed. Twitter.
I mean, it is like 6:10, so technically it's almost been about half an hour since we started.
No, still
Still shit, right?
Well, I mean, I think it was a good show so far. You know, I think it's been.
No, I feel good
I've
about
really
it.
enjoyed the
I think it's my
things that
favorite.
we talked about and
I'll cherish
time
them forever.
spent. Yeah, why is it loading fine right here? We're on the same network.
See, at least your laptop's
Garbage.
loading them. I'm having the same experience on my laptop as you are on the streaming PC.
But on this system, Chrome or Fire, we got no difference.
Yeah,
Here.
same.
So,
Same, bro, same.
well,
Okay.
clear DNS cache.
What if we clear out some of the donations, if there are any? Oh wait, there's only one.
Well, cells not
unless
here.
yeah, okay. There's probably okay. It looks like there's only one here. I don't know if Wifey Sauce has been 100% diligent.
Mike just donated and said, "Cheers, Kyle." Thanks, Mike.
I can look. Thank you, Mike.
MB67.
I can look at super chat right now. Can I on my?
Yes,
go
you
to
should,
community.
be able to do that.
All right. We're going to read off some donations here because our Pimp My PC show is cut short. Sorry to anyone who submitted. It's not our fault. But submit again next week. We'll do another Pimp My PC next week. And if you submitted, yeah, and maybe maybe it'll be better next week. I don't have all the answers, okay? I'm just a person. Super chat. Okay. Okay, we only have a few. All right. Dom Nagovsky. Weren't you in Chernobyl? No. It sounds like a very Russian name.
It's 99 cents.
99 cents, baby. Got 99 cents and a dollar ain't one. All right, so no comment. Thank you. Thank you very much. I was like getting ready to... I was like, all right, let's read this comment and answer it with
He didn't
gumption.
say anything. He just donated.
Here you go. Pup Shepherd Wags.
Hey, Pup.
Would you be willing to do a video? Would you be willing to do a video comparing quad cores, AMD, and Intel CPUs versus the higher end offerings? The test is 60 Hz gaming high. Quad core AMDs.
There's some specifics
core?
missing. I mean, there's quad core AMD CPUs.
There's also quad core Intels.
But
But there's a wide range of those.
if you're talking about any testing that's going to be done in the next 2 weeks, is all going to be on the Ryzen 3 stuff. The Ryzen 3 stuff starts at 6 cores. And I could be wrong, but I'm not even sure we're getting samples of the 6 core options. We might just be getting the higher core count ones.
Yeah.
So there's validity. There is validity to the test that you're requesting.
Fidelity.
But I don't want to promise anything in the near future because quad core is probably not exactly going to be what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Although doing a comparison of what if you're currently on a quad core, whatever the various quad cores that have been viable in the past 5-10 years.
Yeah, and if 60
to
hertz
now.
if 60 hertz gaming is your goal, then you might be okay with a quad core. You might not need a 16 core Ryzen CPU in the first place, depending on what resolution you're gaming at. But I'm sure there will be no shortage of Ryzen coverage and content in the next coming weeks, because there's a lot to talk about, and there's a lot of publishers that are hot on it. So thank you very much, Pup, though, for the donation and comment. Next up, we have Soul Slam Gaming. Why so many bad reviews on the Asus Z390 Mini ITX? I don't know. Did you read the reviews?
What was that? Say again?
Why are there so many bad reviews on the Asus Z390 ITX motherboard?
I don't know.
I don't know.
What do the reviews say?
I was gonna say, did you read the reviews?
Did you read them, or
Were they just? Did they leave any words? Were there words to use? It looks like it got a 3.9 out of 4 on Amazon, which isn't bad. Or I'm sorry, 3.9 out of 5. On Newegg, it's a bit lower. It's got, what, 3 eggs? Jesus Christmas. My freaking, like, Newegg's not even loading. Like, my web pages aren't even loading right now. I mean, it makes sense because Twitter... But I guess it wasn't just... I don't know, your internet's messed up, maybe.
It's fine. We're still streaming. We have 0 dropped frames.
Maybe that's hogging up all the bandwidth. It's never been a problem in the past. Is your baby already, like, hacking away, just computing and
There should be
hogging up all your
an
bandwidth?
absolutely ridiculous amount of bandwidth for what we are doing, even with multiple video streams going in and out.
How is this possible?
Everyone in chat says to change your DNS server.
Everyone's got an opinion.
Use the 1.1.1.11.
11111.
1.1.1.
Just keep hitting 1 until you connect. I don't know why the reviews are so bad. You should look at the ones on Amazon. They're actually pretty positive. I don't know if I've used this board, but I can't say for sure. I don't have any personal experience with it. I don't know. Usually with boards, I feel like it's weird firmware issues, weird BIOS things. BIOS sucks! So unstable! That's like the #1 complaint I see on boards for the most part. But thank you very much for your donation. Let's move on to C3 Chur. Sure. $24.99. Thank you, sir. Or ma'am. Cheers. Planning a build to replace a workstation / gaming PC, 60/40 split, 3900X, or wait and see what the AMD 16 core is like. Depending on what kind of workstation needs that you have, 16 cores is more than enough for gaming, obviously. If you're doing it, it's 60/40 split, so you're actually prioritizing work over gaming here. Depends on what kind of work you need. If you are like editing, video editing and stuff, I would say hold out for the 16 core. It's still not super far away. It should be launching in September. Doubling your...
That's BS. Get the 12 core now and then just upgrade to the 16 core if you decide that the 12 core is not enough for you.
I mean, you can, but that's not for everyone. I mean, having to go in and swap out your CPU and spend that much money and trying to resell your old CPU or finding another use for it.
Swapping out CPUs.
If you need it, no, it is. It is for us. I mean, some people, it's like, it could be more of a hassle for some people.
You don't have like
than
a
others.
custom liquid-cooled system set up or something.
You could very well do that. It just depends on what system you have set up now. This thing keeps reconnecting. If you have a decent system right now, I would hold out. If you're really desperate and whatever you're using right now just is on its last leg, then yeah, probably go with like an 8-core or 12-core and then upgrade to the 16-core later if you think it suits your needs better. But we obviously don't really know for sure until the benchmarks are out. But good luck on that. Thank you very much for the donation. Shonik Show, $5. Great start on the Asus PG35V monitor. Paul, review?
Thank you.
Any plan to go in depth with LG Nano IPS offering whenever they actually release the damn thing?
That would depend on whether or not LG wants to send me that.
So they're going to use their Nano IPS tech that they already have on their TVs into gaming monitors? Is that...
I wasn't listening to what you said. Say it again.
So it sounds like, I don't know anything about this, but it looks like from what he's saying is that LG is going to use their the Nano IPS technology that they have in their TVs currently, and they're going to bring it into gaming monitors.
Nano cell IPS is like IPS is, I believe they have very dense pixels.
Mm-hmm.
I can't talk right now. It's new panel technology that LG has been teasing, but they don't have any actual products based on it out yet.
Right.
So.
Well,
yeah.
Apart from the TVs.
Except for the TVs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact benefits of nanocell over IPS or like the pros and cons really. That's a good question because I've actually done a video on nanocell TV before, but I forget exactly what the benefits are specifically to just normal IPS. But I don't know. Everyone go OLED.
Let's wait for OLED.
Just gonna trigger chat right now. I just use OLED. Burn it, error, the burning. Error 404 Oztech. There is 8 per CCX. Hence, the 16 core has 2 8 core CCX and an IO die. Thank you, Error, who donated 5 Australiers. Yes, we figured that out. It was a long journey to get there, but we eventually used logic, and logic made the most sense out of all the other things we tried. Yes, there are 2 chiplets on, say, a 3900X, and each of those chiplets have 4 cores. I'm sorry. Let's say a 3950X could have 8 cores per chiplet, and there would be 2 CCXs per chiplet, which no, I'm doing it wrong. 8 cores per CCX.
4.
4.
4 per CCX.
It's still 4.
8 per chiplet.
So he's wrong.
2 chiplets per
chiplet.
per processor for a maximum
2 chiplets
of, for a maximum of 16 cores total.
Right. 4, no. 8, no. 4.
Yes.
Yep. 2 CCXs per chiplet. 4 cores per chiplet. Or, no, 4 cores per CCX gives you 16 cores per CPU. Because there's 2 chiplets per CPU. Okay. And the IO die.
We're professionals.
Is anyone else's head spinning, or is it just ours? Thank you very much, Error 404 OZTech. Jujubes, update on Charlie. Does Lyle know about him or her? Charlie is our new pet. If you watch today's vlog, we actually found a caterpillar, a black swallowtail caterpillar at the farmer's market last week, and we adopted it because it was literally just chilling on a bed of lettuce, and someone was going to snatch it up and turn it into their latest protein drink or something. So we took it home. We actually got it like a little tank and stuff, and it's now a chrysalis. And so
Really?
Yeah. We actually fed it, and we got like fresh dill for it, made sure it had no pesticides. We got it from the same farmer's market, and it turned into a chrysalis. It was cool. We actually missed it shedding its skin, like molting or whatever. But we woke up the next morning, one of the mornings, and it was freaking just chilling there, like on the bottom of a branch. So in a few days, it should be a butterfly, and then we'll set it free. We're just keeping him captive until he's safe, and then can fuck off and breed and die.
And they say if you take a little worm and it turns into a butterfly and you set it free, and then it comes back to you, then it's probably not very smart. It should go out and find a mate to have sex with.
Right. If it comes back to you, it shouldn't have made it in the first place, because that's just going to further the breed of dumb butterflies.
Exactly.
So if it comes back to you, you should kill it. If Charlie comes flying back to us, I'm immediately going to just electric racket him.
Stupid fucking butterflies.
I don't know if Lyle knows about him. He probably does and is plotting to kill him, which he should if he's dumb. NB67, thank you very much, Mike. Cheers, Kyle. $13.37 as always.
Hey, Mike.
Appreciate it, Mike. Randy Bear, in-depth review of Apple monitor stand someday. I can't afford to spend the money on an Apple stand.
Come on, Kyle. It's a tax write-off.
Leave it to Apple to make you feel like a poor person.
Do it for work.
It's a stand. It's $1,000 stand.
People need to know whether or not it's an investment they should make.
I can't do it. You know what? That's what Linus is for. Linus is there to make all the stupid purchases so that people don't have to, and he can tell you if it's worth it or not, because they've got the funds. They got the bank to do it. The bankroll. I'm not gonna spend $1,000 on the stand. Linus is gonna do it.
That's their thing.
That's his thing. He'll do a drop test and everything. All right, that's gonna do it for my half. Thank you very much. We're gonna roll over to Paul's half right now. You can follow the link in my description if you're watching us on YouTube, or just stay where you are on Twitch.tv. And feel free to do timestamps if you're so inclined. That would be much appreciado. That is
appreciado.
It's not a word. All right, we'll be right back.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.